It's been an exciting week in the world of sports, I must tell you, and we are set to give you another great episode of Sportsville. My name is George Aluo. We're set to rotate, and I'm not working alone. As usual, I'm working with my colleagues. Tommy Okoma-Obani is in the studio, and we have the big masquerade himself, talk about Frank Ilaboya. We told you last week that he's bereaved, but he's coming out of it, and we'll say to God be the glory. Well, the NFF board, they are beginning now to settle down, and they met the sports minister within the week. They held their very first meeting. What are the challenges ahead of GUSAU and his team? We'll take a look at that on the show today. And it's not just in football that things are happening. I must tell you that things are looking up for Nigeria too in other sports. In athletics, for the very first time, our own Tobi Amusan has been nominated for World Athlete of the Year. I hope she will eventually get it. It's been a wonderful year for her. And then even in cricket, Nigeria has qualified for the next phase of the Cricket World Cup. So it's a loaded package, I must tell you. After this break, when we come back, then we'll begin to fire on all cylinders. Don't go away. It is Sportsville.
I'm Barrister Sajo Mohammed, the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National League. I enjoy watching Sportsville every week, so stay tuned with them.
Welcome back. Let me now introduce my guests, my colleagues who are in the studio. But before I do that, let me implore you to join the conversation on all our social media handles. You can see them there on the screen, and they are at Sportsville NG on Instagram, at Sportsville Official on Facebook, and at Sportsville Nigeria on Twitter. Also, subscribe to our page on YouTube, Sportsville. Join the conversation because we want you to be part of the show. And being part of the show, I have my colleagues here in the studio. Let me start from my far right, where the big masquerade is joining us today. Talk about Honorable Frank Ilaboya. Frank, you're welcome to Sportsville.
Well, nice to be back again. It has been a long, long while. Happy to be back on the show.
All right, happy to be back. And I'm sure, Frank, that you're happy that Tobi Amusan is doing very well, isn't it?
Of course, I think every Nigerian has to be happy. She's done so much this year, and I'm happy with the way she's going. You know, the sky is the beginning.
All right, the sky is the beginning. And one man who I know sky is always his beginning is Tony Nwokoma Yagazie Ubani, the one we call Agramatocho. Tony, welcome to Sportsville.
Thank you so much.
I'm revealing what we call you in Egypt.
Thank you so much, George. And of course, I would say a very big thank you to our esteemed viewers. Georgia, anytime you talk about Toby Amusan, I think that she's unstoppable. This is her year, and she has done very wonderfully well. And I think the only thing that we can do as Nigerians is for us to support and, of course, nominate her. It's not just about being the best, but you have to nominate. You have to go to internet and then, back up, her voting.
So much words with action.
Yeah, that's the way she can win. And that's how most of these North Africans and some other athletes in the world who are not as good as our athletes get to be nominated, and you see them winning. Let's go and then,
I'll be surprised if Toby Amusan misses because we are not voting. In fact, AFN has pushed out a release, telling Nigeria that this is the opportunity. This girl has done so well for herself, has done so well for the country, and this time for us to appreciate her. We are always good at clapping. Exactly. This is an opportunity for us now to show that we can match.
And we have the population, Frank.
Of course.
So Nigeria has had
the population of about 200 million.
We
cannot support our own. I think, come on, I think we can do it.
All right, please vote Toby Amusan so that she will become the athlete of the year, because she has done so very well for the country. And then the little girls that are doing well for the country too are the Flamingos. 4-0 it ended, and now they are facing Chile. I think this is a good one, Tony.
Yeah, absolutely. As in, George, we were worried, when they were hit by the German machines, and then
they lost the first game by 2-1.
They lost 2-1, and then, came up, showed a lot of, energy, a lot of character in their second game. And I think their third game, that was Chile. Chile is just going to chill.
Chile will chill out.
Chile will chill for the Flamingos.
All right, and one other Nigerian that did the country proud is the Super Eagles goalkeeper. Talk about Francis Uzoho. Fantastic he was in that Europa Cup game against Man United. Wonderful saves. Frank, did you see Uzoho?
Yeah, I watched a clip of that match. It was actually very brilliant. We must give it to him. Brilliant. But I think beyond that, I think this country needs a goalkeeper that is consistent. You see, we need a goalkeeper that is consistent. We don't want all this flash in the pan. Uzoho has not been able to prove his mettle in Super Eagles. Just like the poster boy, what do you call him, Melkuye. We want people that can give us credit. Ayema was here ago. We saw what he was doing. But the biggest leakage in Super Eagles today is goalkeeping. We must give that. So I'm not.
So you are not celebrating.
No, this is just a flash in the pan.
Okay.
Uzoho must be able to prove himself in Super Eagles. And he has to show it.
Okay, Uzoho, we give you kudos for that performance against Manchester United, but you have to prove it when you come to the national team to come and excel for Nigeria. And talking about excelling for Nigeria, our team, Rivers United, is up against Wydad Casablanca this afternoon. Would they be able to scale this hurdle? It's a very difficult one, and since they arrived in Morocco, they've been facing a whole lot of challenges. Trust North Africans and the kind of things they do to frustrate you. But it's Rivers United, they have a 2-1 lead going into this one. Tony, will they survive it?
George, I've been there, and I know how difficult it's going to be for them.
You'll be weird.
I've been to Morocco.
No, I've been to Morocco.
Okay.
I know how intimidating it can be.
I know how intimidating it could be. For us as journalists, even when we stand and travel with most of these teams, at a stage, we even be praying that our team lose so that we can be free. But I think that's where experience comes in. And of course, that's where motivation equally comes in. If you think about what Rivers United have done, winning the league, the type of administrative backing that they have received, and then think about $40,000 American dollars.
POS, just $40,000
once they qualify. This is the second leg. If they win, they will just be counting their money, $40,000. Just if you consider that, I can play.
You go there and die.
I can play with 3 legs.
But you know that the North Africans they are very crafty. They are master of the game. Yeah. We've passed through this road before. 2-1, 3-1. We end up there lamenting. So, but I hope that we will not. But I have my fears.
You have your fears.
Very, very seriously.
We'll come back after this break.
Against Wydad is a big game, of course. They are the champions of the Champions League in Africa. One cannot undermine their powers and their exploit. They've been there, the champions in the past. They have all that it takes, but we are not also relenting. We want to make name, we want to make history for ourselves. We want to make the country proud. That's why we have to go back working very hard, harder than we have worked before. We are the underdog. A lot of people are not giving us any chance at all. We want to prove Brewmaker strong. And that is the reason why we have to go back to drawing board to do a lot of tactical work to ensure that we prove surprises. They have a lot of antics that are going well for them, I must tell you, they are ahead of us, in all aspects, but we are trying to catch up. We are trying to catch up our football. Our club side are trying, considering the fact that we don't have to play enough time to prepare. Our preparation have always been hasty, and that has been one of our biggest problems. But I think that very soon we'll catch up with them, and I think this season, the fact that the three teams are pitched against the North Africans, we will try to prove surprises. We'll try to make to break the jinx.
Keep watching Sportsville.
My name is Gloria Bonner, Super Falcon Defender. Keep watching Sportsville.
All right, and don't forget to be part of the conversation. You can see all our social media platforms out there on the screen. Join the conversation and be part of Sportsville. We want it to be as interactive as possible. All right, we'll now go to the NFF. Like we told you, the board has been inaugurated. They held their first meeting in Abuja. They've met with the sports minister, so it is now time for GUSAU and his team to begin to take the game to the next level. And they brought out their agenda. We saw it after that meeting. They said they would take a look at grassroots development, take a look at sponsorship, and then the league, the calendar, they need to get it right. Gentlemen, if you look at the program of GUSAU after the very first board meeting, I think it's a good one, but are they going to implement it? Implementation is the challenge, Frank.
Well, let me start by quoting the former President Amaju on GUSAU. Okay, say the new president is a strategist, is humble, and is very dynamic. I'm going to start from there because people see GUSAU as a very gentle person. He doesn't have the type of swag Amaju has, but I can tell you that he's a good person. If GUSAU says,
you are telling Nigerians that he's a good person.
If GUSAU says, wait for me here, you wait for him. If he says 1 o'clock, it's 1 o'clock. Based on that, I think, see, what is going to play out in this mission is going to be relationship. I see GUSAU that's going to relate well with all stakeholders. And that has been the problem. So if he's able to get that right, which I'm sure he's going to get, I think we'll get there. So it's not just about implementing the program. To me, we have to look at where the problems have been. And one of them is issue of relationship. Amaju is a wonderful person. He's a go-getter. But he had that problem of relationship. And that is where GUSAU is to come in. I'm sure GUSAU will do it well and get Nigerian football to the next level. When they met the minister said, I'm happy to see that you guys have settled down to work as a team. But you have to move the game in the right direction where all genuine stakeholders want it to go. That is what I'm saying now.
All right, Tony, if you look at it, one area that you must give to Amaju, irrespective of anything, is the area of sponsorship. He was fantastic. Would this board be able to attract sponsors so that at the end of the day, because without sponsors, the game will not fly?
Yeah, George, I absolutely agree with you that during Amaju's tenure, sponsorship was the best. And of course, I'm equally optimistic that with GUSAU and with Amaju's backing of GUSAU, that definitely GUSAU will continue from where Amaju stopped. If another person had won, George, I think maybe I would just be having butterflies in my stomach. But when you talk about, Frank was talking about humility of GUSAU, and I think it goes beyond the humility. GUSAU has been a very nice person, very quiet. But then I think that it goes beyond that. It has to be tough because the terrain is rough. So for him to be there, one, he has to contend with the Ministry of Youth and Sports because every minister will always want to have a say in the Nigeria Football Federation. If you are not tough, you cannot. We know
Tony, how were they able to diffuse the minister before the election?
Gentlemen.
When you're talking about being tough, I'm talking as to how were they able to diffuse the minister before the election? Because the minister, that election would have had. We know that very well.
Absolutely.
So how were they able to do that?
Gentlemen, I don't want us to dwell with the politics of the game. That has come and gone.
No, we have to.
No, Frank,
one
area. Yes, I agree with you. But one area that is bothering Nigerians and which we must get right is the league, the calendar of the league, Frank. I hope this new NFF board will be able to get it right.
To me, if
because Nigerian clubs in the last 10 years.
If I have to set agenda
yes,
for GUSAU,
exactly.
I would say it should first and foremost look at Nigerian League, align Nigerian League with the rest of the world. You know, we're just talking about our games against North Africa. Anytime we play with them, begin to worry. As at today, North African League is week 7.
Exactly.
Week 7.
So this is one fundamental
Nobody is even talking about where we are starting. I think GUSAU knows that first and foremost, you have to align our league with the rest of Africa and with the rest of the world. From there, we can take it off.
Yeah, Frank, I agree. I agree on that, you know, because our league is just part of the major problem for our national
big problem,
team.
yes.
And if you look at it, before now, ordinarily, I think that, you know, the league supplies so many of the players to the national team. And these are big problems that are in the hands of GUSAU. Getting it right, going to grassroots, ensuring, you know, there is this amicable relationship between stakeholders at the grassroots.
And gentlemen,
and Tony, sorry, George,
yes.
That is why they have to add this man, Pesero, to come and stay in Nigeria.
Okay.
See, you cannot be supervising Nigeria and stay abroad.
Okay.
West Ham got it right because he spent most of his time in Nigeria. Pesero has to come. They have shown some resentment on that because I saw him watching some league, but let him come and stay here, monitor Nigerian players, monitor the league, and recommend those who can play for Super. We have the players.
All right, we hope that the results will come. GUSAU and the new board, please plan very well so that we'll get results, because what Nigerians want to see is results. And one of the actors that actually was part of the Benin election, although he lost out, is BENNEDICT AKWUEGBU, ex-international. He played for Nigeria, and he's standing by now to share his thoughts with us on the show. And my producer is telling me that we're getting across to BENNEDICT now via Zoom. Okay, hello, BENNEDICT. How would you describe your experience in the recent NFF elections in Benin?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's a wonderful experience, you know. And as you can see, I'm 100% a football administrator. Until the NFF is ready to have ex-international as president, I will not run for presidency again. I have done my research about everything of the presidency. The hurdles involved in the quest seems designed for political athletics and acrobats. Ex-internationals, they should forget about it. First of all, they are not united. They are enemies to themselves, you know. They have to put their order, they have to put their home in order first, you know. As you can see, even at the election, there were 2 ex-internationals there. Pascal Patrick and Chike Ileanusi, they did not vote for me. They did not vote for me. So ex-internationals should forget about presidency for now, because they have already formed a coalition, and the FA chairmen have formed a coalition. They have been together for many years, you know, so it's very, very difficult for us international.
All right, BENNEDICT, you lost out, you are not in the board, but please, what would be your advice to GUSAU and his team? Because at the end of the day, football should come first. Whether you are in the board or not, Nigeria football should come first. So what is your advice moving forward?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, he have to unite the ex-players so that they can be one, you know, and he has to carry everybody along. And also, he has to work on Amaju Picnic's weakness. He has to do a research on the weakness of Amaju Picnic and build on that. And he must make sure that the players' welfare should be paramount. He has to safeguard the welfare of the players, because the players are the main actors. Without players, there's no NFF. So he should do all he can to make sure that Nigeria qualifies for the World Cup. Nigeria do very well at the World Cup and try to win a lot of trophies, you know. And also the female football also is going down. He has to revive it and make sure that they also dominate in the world. So I think GUSAU is a great leader, you know. He's a man, he has wisdom and full of knowledge and experience. And as I said earlier before on, he has seen it all. He was chairman of chairmen. He has worked under Aminu Megeri. He has worked under Picnic. So he must tap the good things that they did when they were in office, you know, and join it with his own together. And he has to create a platform where every Nigerian will say their mind on the way forward. And he has to carry all the state along. When he's appointing the coaches, he should make sure that he carry everybody along. He carry the ex-footballers along. There's a lot of ex-footballers that are also in abroad and try to bring peace among the ex-internationals and have only one players union. He should sit with them, dialogue with them, ask them what they want, and give it to them.
All right, thank you, Benedict. We really appreciate your sharing your thoughts with us on Sportsville today. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much.
All right, Tony, you had Benedict AKWUEGBU there.
George, I'm happy that this is coming from Benedict AKWUEGBU, one of the stakeholders. And of course, I agree with him in total that all hands must be on deck. We talk about GUSAU as if GUSAU is a miracle person. That miracle can only happen when we join hands together and, of course, help to ensure that our football, continue to rise during his administration.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll continue with the show, and I hope you enjoy Sportsville.
This Zero Hunger match is to mark the 10-year anniversary of Folk League support. It is huge. We've been doing this for the past 10 years, and we felt the world should know about the great work that we've been doing. And also, World Food Day is around the corner. So this is in line with some of the activities that we have been celebrating this year World Food Day. The theme for this year World Food Day is Leave No One Behind. And if you look at football, it's a kind of game that embraces people from different ethnicity, different from different time, different from different race. So we are using football as a medium to bring everybody together towards this cause of ending hunger.
A very, very significant day for us. It's actually a significant week. Usually every year for about 11, 12 years now, we've commemorated the World Food Day in celebration of to create awareness against food insecurity, to also create awareness against food wastage and then malnutrition.
This initiative was proposed by the founder, Mr. Bolajoko Fadipe, who under very dire circumstances passed away earlier on this year, but we're glad that his legacy is still going through, and we're trying to pretty much head World Hunger. It's an ambitious initiative, but we're slowly trying to move the needle in getting reputable Nigerians and people across the world to support the initiative.
Keep watching Sportsville.
All right, welcome back. We are coasting home now, and we will leave the studio without giving you the talking points. And so much is happening in the world of sports. Frank, I think something is happening in baseball, isn't it?
Yeah, baseball is something is happening. 5 states, including the whole data, have qualified for the next month sports festival. You also have Rivers, Bayelsa, and Oyo taking part. In softball, which is the women category, you also have Delta leading the pack again with Kaduna, Lagos, Oyo, Bayelsa, and Rivers taking part. This is the first time also that baseball is well represented in the sports field. That shows that the game is growing.
Yes, the game is growing. Yeah. That's it. And talking about a game that is equally growing, and that is at the biggest stage, you talk about the Swimming World Cup that is starting in Berlin from October 20 to 23. And FINA, the World Swimming Governing Body, said $1.2 million will be at stake for swimmers. Wonderful money. And the biggest stars in the world, 8 of them have signed up, with Matthew Satis of South Africa going to be the cynosure of all eyes. And then don't forget Kelly Chalmers from Australia, and Nick Fins of USA, and Kelly Massey of Canada. They will all be there. They've all agreed to be part of the World Cup, the first leg in Berlin, and then from there they will be moving to Indianapolis in US and Toronto in Canada. All right, Tony, from swimming.
Yeah,
there's basketball.
Yeah, basketball. I think an old man has distinguished himself and, of course, has been doing very great things. Masai Ujiri, he has always been there ensuring. And, of course, just last week, he unveiled new basketball courts in Lagos. That's just one man who is taking basketball to all the nooks and crannies, George. I think basketball, with what we have seen, from the national teams, basketball, with what Masai Ujiri is doing, I think he's also expanding and ensuring that basketball will definitely compete with football.
And then, Frank, you remember one of our colleagues, Kajeta Nkwopara, in Swine, he said, food infrastructure is very important.
Stomach infrastructure.
That is way back. Okay, and the stars converged in Lagos to talk about Zero Hunger March organized by Food Click, and that was part of World Food Day 2022. So stomach infrastructure, this is key.
You cannot deny that, okay? Even if you're home, you cannot be in the studio.
You cannot be in the studio. So I agree. And then, gentlemen, don't forget that today is Super Sunday. Liverpool up against Man City. Liverpool has been energized with their performance against Glasgow Rangers. They won 7-1 with Mohamed Salah scoring the fastest hat-trick in history. 7-1 it ended. And
Against who?
Against Glasgow Rangers.
We are talking of Man City.
Yeah, so today they've been energized ahead of this one.
Can you compare Glasgow?
We'll see that today. So who will you give the game to, Frank?
No,
Quickly.
No, Man City is smoking. There's no doubt about that. They will deal with Liverpool.
That smoke won't be extinguished this afternoon.
I said they will.
I do not think so, because Liverpool won 7, 1 or 2, doesn't really make. We're talking about Haaland, and Pep Guardiola rested Haaland. That also tells you what is going to happen today.
Tony, there's no two ways. Okay, let me say Haaland will deal with Liverpool, not even Man City.
You can see that by colleagues.
At the end of this game, Liverpool will Haaland.
Oh, they will Haaland.
Okay. We will see who will walk alone at the end of the day.
Okay.
But I don't write off Liverpool, I must tell you. All right, that is the show. But before we leave the studio, let's say congratulations to Chikelu Ilenyose, Anambra FA chairman. He celebrated his birthday just some 2 days back, and he's been doing well in Anambra State as FA chairman. Congratulations. We pray that the good Lord will continue to bless and keep you. All right, gentlemen. Tony, thank you for being part of Sportsville today.
Thank you so much, George, and thanks, having Frank Elaboye back on this. It brought...
And I hope it will not be a one-off thing.
No,
I hope so.
All right, that's the show. And Frank, we say accept our sympathy again over the death of your elder brother.
Thank you so much, George.
That's the show. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye and God bless.